Welcome back, Bills Mafia. Welcome to another edition of 10 Buffalo Bills draft targets in 10 days. We are not 10 days away from the NFL draft. We are under 2 days away from the NFL draft. So let's hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get this thing rolling because we are running out of time. I know, guys, the clock is ticking towards the NFL draft. I'm cutting it close. We're going to get these videos out as soon as possible. But we are 4 episodes in. We have started off this series with some wonderful episodes. We talked about a player that is probably going to be a day 3 pick, maybe even an undrafted free agent, and could be a priority undrafted free agent in Zoff Frazier, a cornerback out of UTSA. Then we moved on to a defensive tackle that is massive at 6'7", 340 pounds in Deion Walker. Moved on to the next player on the list, and that is going to be the third player in this installment in Trey Amos. Then we just finished it up with our 4th episode. This was one of the best episodes you can possibly imagine having. We talked about it last year with Buffalo Joe and the whole entire offseason. Let's add another University of Buffalo linebacker in Sean McDermott, who is going to be one of the probably premier undrafted free agents that teams can get. I expect him to probably go to the Buffalo Bills if nobody wants him, but he led the nation in tackles last season and was the MAC Defensive Player of the Year. Now, let's move on to our 5th player on the list, and let's talk about another player here that is going to make a name for himself in Nebraska defensive lineman Ty Robinson. And this is the guy that the Buffalo Bills have brought in already for a draft visit. He stands at 6'5", 288 pounds, hometown of Gilbert, Arizona, played high school at Higley High School. Age on draft day will be 23 years old. He's projected to go between rounds 3 and 5. His position as a defensive lineman is between a 3-tech and 5-tech versatility. So you're not going to get that 1-tech that we need, especially with Daquan Jones getting older. He is a redshirt senior in the draft, and he has some comparisons to him in John Franklin Myers, who used to play for the Jets, and then Dean Lowry of the Packers and Vikings. So let's go over the background of Ty Robinson. He came to Nebraska as a highly touted 4-star recruit and was one of the crown jewels of their 2019 recruiting class. He redshirted his freshman year, but saw immediate action in the seasons to follow. Over 6 seasons in Lincoln, he developed into a cornerstone of the Cornhuskers defensive front, playing in a school record 60 games. His football IQ, maturity, and leadership were consistently praised by coaches and teammates alike. His college career breakdown: he played in 60 games, had a total of 123 total tackles for loss, 23.5 sacks, 10.5 sacks, 7 passes defense, 1 forced fumble, and 1 blocked kick. Robinson's production spiked in 2024 at the right time, especially going into the NFL draft, where he notched career highs in tackles for losses and sacks, becoming a disruptive presence against both the run and pass. He was named 3rd team All Big Ten and was one of the Nebraska's emotional leaders during a strong defensive campaign. Let's go over his scouting report and let's talk about the strengths for him. He has explosiveness at his size. Robinson impresses at the scouting combine with a 4.83 40-yard dash, the fastest among interior defensive linemen. His get-off speed is incredibly fast, especially for someone who is nearing 290 pounds. He offers versatility. Not only can he play the 1-tech position, he can also play the 3 and 5 technique in certain odd front packages. He's scheme versatile and can move up and down the line depending on the formation. And that's one thing that Buffalo is going to need, especially with the losses of Larry Ogunjobi, especially him, and Michael Hoyt, who were suspended for the first 6 games of the season. His hand power and punch, he offers flashes of violent, quick hands at the point of attack. He can disengage from blockers with a well-timed punch and bull rush through single blocks. His run defense IQ is another area that will jump out to you. Has a natural sense for finding the ball and disrupting run lanes. Maintains good pad level and uses his leverage to stay gap sound. His leadership and toughness are on display each and every year. Played 6 seasons in the Big Ten trenches. Coaches rave about his toughness, work ethic, and football intelligence. Known for his high motor and locker room presence. So this is exactly what Buffalo is needing in their locker room, as a guy that can come in and just do their job. That's what Buffalo wants in a defensive lineman. And I'm telling you guys, this is one of the sleeper picks for me in the NFL draft as a day 2 or day 3 pick. Some of his weaknesses that he has is he lacks the elite length. His arm length is around 32.25 inches, which is below average for a defensive lineman, which can limit his ability to separate from NFL caliber blockers. Needs to improve his pass rush. He wins with power more than technique. Needs to expand his pass rush arsenal, but his lack of consistent secondary move was once the initial bull rush that was installed. Not a natural bender. He can appear a bit stiff at times when asked to corner and flatten it towards the quarterback, which might not win often on the edge at the NFL level. His stamina over long drives needs to be improved as well. There were stretches in his career where he was rotated out frequently during up-tempo drives. But that's a good thing, actually, for the Buffalo Bills, because they do like to rotate their defensive linemen often. So with a team that has so much versatility on their defensive line, adding a guy that can come in for maybe 15, 20 snaps per game in Ty Robinson is right in that sweet spot of where his career can really take off, and he doesn't have to put so much mileage on him at such a young age. He can have a long career in the NFL. Let's talk about some of his combine and pro day numbers. His 40-yard dash was 4.83 seconds, 10-yard split of 1.67 seconds, 29-inch vertical jump, 9-foot 1-inch broad jump, 24 reps at 225 pounds on the bench press, 32.25-inch arms, and his wingspan is 79 inches. He's tested as an above-average athlete for his position group, particularly standing out in the 40-yard dash and split, which suggests strong explosiveness off the line. Why he is going to be a good fit for the Buffalo Bills, there's a number of reasons why. Number one, scheme versatility. Robinson fits perfectly into Sean McDermott's multiple front system. He can rotate in at 3-tech and 4-man looks, or slide out to the 5-tech and hybrid fronts. His depth behind Daquan Jones and Ed Oliver is another spot that he can fit in for the Bills. With Daquan Jones aging and depth always being a critical need for the Buffalo Bills defensive line, Robinson could compete for a rotational snaps immediately. The culture fit, he is a high character, mature player who fits the Bills' emphasis on leadership, toughness, and professionalism. Developmental upside under Sean McDermott and defensive line coach, Robinson's raw tools could be refined into a long-term rotational or starter piece for the team. His draft projection, I mentioned, is going to be a high day 2 to day 3 pick. And I mentioned the versatility that he has here on display to play both inside and outside here. But some of the film that you need to watch is his 2023 game against Michigan. He showcased that he can hold his own against future offensive linemen in the NFL. 2024 against Wisconsin had 1.5 sacks, 3 pressures, and several key run stops. His Senior Bowl practice, he held his own against top offensive linemen in one-on-one snaps. And some final thoughts on Ty Robinson is that he is the type of character who doesn't flash with jaw-dropping highlights, but makes a living doing the dirty work in the trenches. Reminds me so much of Kyle Williams, who used to play for the Buffalo Bills, and Harrison Phillips. This is a guy that'll come in and be strong, tough, reliable, exactly the kind of lineman Buffalo loves to add to their defensive line rotation. For the Bills, Robinson represents a smart day 2 or day 3 pickup, someone who can contribute early on special teams and run downs while developing into a complete NFL lineman over time. So to me, this is a great pick for the Buffalo Bills to add to their defensive line group that's going to be missing a few pieces at the start of the season, with guys like Michael Hoyt and even Larry Ogunjobi being out for the first few games of the season. That's going to hurt the team. What do you think the Bills should do in the NFL draft here late in the draft? Do you think that they should get a player like Ty Robinson, or should they go with a defensive lineman early in the NFL draft? Let me know in the comments below. Well, that's a wrap from the War Room Mafia. Whether it's a sleeper pick, blockbuster trade, or a future legend in the making, we've got it all covered right here on Nickel City Mafia. So if you bleed red, white, and Bills blue, hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a move from One Bills Drive. Until next time, stay loud, stay proud, and as always, go Bills.